Hi, this is David Bird. I want to cover NetSuite imports and exports, and these are the best practices that I've identified, but there may be better. Also going to cover a few imports and exports out of Postgres at the same time. So let's just cover the agenda. First, I'm going to cover SavedSearches, how to export directly, manually out of them. Then using a MapReduce script and Boomi to get the data out. And then using the Save Search directly with Boomi and why that's kind of tricky. Then I want to cover NetSuite Save CSV imports, getting data into Boomi, and then Postgres file imports using DataGrip, and then Postgres query exports using pgadmin4. So let's jump into this. So NetSuite Save Searches. I'm going to actually do this, but the following pages actually walk you through how to get to them and so forth. So I'm going to go into NetSuite. If we go into Reports, Save Searches, All, and then we're looking for the Save Searches to start with MHI. So I'm going to go over a couple of these. And we're on the right page now. If we scroll down, we should see some MHI ones pop up here. And here they are. We have shipping methods, sales order, customer, item, non-inventory item, location, and there should be a payment methods, but I'm going to check into that. So here's the Save Searches. Pretty simple. Now we're going to go, we want to see how to export directly. So let's choose the item. If you hit this button here, it'll take about a minute, and then a little download file will pop up here, and it'll start downloading the files for you. I actually did one a few moments or a little earlier. And if we go to downloads, sort by date, you can see this MHI export 4DQ item results right here. So that's what I did earlier tonight. The next thing we want to cover is the MapReduce scripts. So if we go to customization, scripting, scripts, look under MapReduce, and I think go to the second page here, or maybe not, and scroll down, you will see a set of MHI ones right here, and we're looking for the generate CSVs. So this is the actual script. If changes can be made to it, Zach wrote it, and anyway, now we really want to go to the customization, scripting, script deployments. This one, I believe, is on the second page. And if we scroll down, we should see some generate CSV ones here with the MHI prefix. And essentially, let's look at the export item one. If you view this, you can see it's scheduled daily, and then under parameters, it goes after inventory items, but uses this save search that I showed you a little earlier. And then this is actually the ID of the output folder. Not too important, but just so you know. Anyway, you can make a new one of these if you want, but this is the MapReduce script. What this does is actually puts files in the file cabinet. So if we go to file cabinet and click here, and and click on Suite Scripts. Scroll down a little to Buyer's Home and look at MapReduce exports. Here's all the list of shipping items and sales orders and payment methods that this is run. So this is how the data gets in the file cabinet. So now we're going to jump over to Boomi, which is what my PowerPoint will show you. MapReduce scripts, where to find them, deployments, where to find them, file cabinets, and now we're in Boomi. So we're going to go look at the get file list processed and go back to Boomi. And okay, so if you look under integrations from NetSuite exports, and we want to look, these are the processes. First, we're going to look at get NS files, the NetSuite files. So this thing starts with no data, goes out to a Postgres table and grabs all the files we've previously loaded and their names, and then looks at the last successful run date, uses a combination of those things to go grab everything else. From NetSuite, it grabs basically a directory list of everything that's out there. It's looking only for the yeah, this doesn't show. It's just grabbing a list of everything from the file cabinet. And anyway, we close here. We go to grab that list, get some properties. Has a name been? Does it start with the right name? So here we're looking to see if it starts with NS Boomi CSV. If it does, then we look to see in the cache, which we mapped up here. I'll show you that in a second. See if it's been processed before. So in here, we have the file cabinet log cache. And so this tells us, okay, for these files coming in, have we already processed it? Anyway, that's that. If we haven't processed it, we combine all the files once we've handled each one individually. We use reformat the data with this map and then write it up to the file cabinet log table in our MMDM. And basically that's it for that. So the next process is to take the export inventory items file that's in that file cabinet, which we've identified, and go out and get it. So if you look here, okay, so you can see this profile actually goes out and looks for files starting with NS Boomi CSV inventory line item. So it only picks up the file names that we loaded from the file cabinet into this file cabinet table, and that it hasn't been processed from NetSuite. So that's false. So close that. So that's what's going to get in a list. It gets that file name and the URL. If the source file name is not blank, then we drop down here, otherwise it ends. If we drop down here, this takes the URL and does an HTTP get, basically, and gets the file that's at that URL. Then this basically reformats the data. We clear the export table we want to load into, load it, and then the last step marks that file name that's in the file cabinet log table that it's been processed, so that it won't be processed again. That's the whole point of that table. So that covers that, and that's how we get data out of NetSuite and into the Postgres tables using Boomi. So the next thing we wanted to cover was the save search using Boomi going directly to the save search. Very similar. This isn't too complex, except there's some real idiosyncrasies here. The first one is you can do an import to get to the data, but then you click down here. Oh, it's still loading. Hang on. There we go. And you can see that there's a lot of fields here. Well, we did a save search, and you'd think it would have chosen only the fields that were listed in save search. That's not true, not one bit. So what it has done, it's given you basically all the fields and all the tables tied to an inventory item. And in this case, we only want to pull out the fields that are important to us. And those are the fields in the save search. So you have to unselect everything and then select each field you want. So created is one. There's a base price here somewhere, I think these are alphabetical. Yeah, there you go, base price is checked, and so forth. So that's the first thing that I'm not really liking, but that's the way save search works. All right, so the next thing is data's come out of this step, and we're going into the a map to take that data and put it into a database format. The unfortunate thing is that this schema, which I have here, is not the same as the one that came out of the NetSuite step. If you look at the names, if we go back here for a second, oh, it doesn't even have one listed, or it's still loading. There we go. Took a while to come up. So this is not the same name. So what you have to do, and you can't change that, is go ahead and put a stop step like right up here and point to it, and then run this. Out of the stop step, you'll see a sourced document that you can use to download and save. Import that document as a profile, and then use that new profile in this, and you can see everything you want to map. Again, another screwy little thing that I think is they should fix, but it makes the save search a little more complicated to use. From there, it's pretty straightforward. We load a holding table. I use we clear a holding table. I load the holding table, and then this last step executes the stored product that takes all the new stuff, inserts it into the export table, and then takes all the stuff that's already there and does an update on it. So that's the end of the save searches. If we go back to the PowerPoint, I described how this was used. I rearranged some of the icons in this picture. Here's what's going on, and I want to show you NetSuite save imports, CSV save CSV imports. So if we do a search on that, CSV saved, it's right here. And I actually renamed something the other day, so my thing would show right up here at the beginning. And these are very straightforward. You just select the file you want. I did a small sample here. And then you hit next. Here it's kind of important to hit add or update. And then down here you can choose the key you want. You have choices 1 through 5. Keep it 1. The next is the mapping. So here's your source data, here's your target, and in between here you have some fields that are like, this actually took a data value that we typed in, or we can actually choose it. So you're kind of like hard coding things here. That's the e-commerce going to the sales channel, and then down here we have QL going to a location. Those are two hard coded things, and you just hit a little pencil to edit that. Then you hit next. Clear this ID out, and then hit save and run. Everything's good to go. And then you can go to a page like here, and end up on a page like this, and you can see the process running, how much it's completed with the percentage, and then the number of errors, and you can actually look at the error response files. So that's the CSV imports. Next thing I wanted to cover was importing data in data group. So sometimes I want to take some data quickly in, like say we did that manual export of the items, and I just want to put it somewhere so I can work with it. So I bought a tool using Data Grip under Tim's suggestion, and does some things really cool and some things I like better in other tools. But here's one of the cool things. So if we open this database, this one, clear schemies, and in MHI temp, say we right click here, we can import a file, just choose one, like customer analysis CSV, which has first row is a header. Anyway, so there's, and if we hit OK, it would import that data. I did it to import, I think like 600,000 items, and it does it in less than a minute. So that was pretty cool. So that's what I wanted to cover here. And then I wanted to cover exporting data from pgadmin. So pgadmin is a Postgres tool, one of the first ones that came out. It's a pretty good manager. And here's my server choices. And I'm going to look at staging and schemas. And tables. So bring this down, bring it over, and this is a sales order table. So if I do a select here, it'll actually generate the select code for me momentarily, and then I hit play. There's like 4 sales orders. Now I can hit this download, and it would download these. It's 4 sales orders, it's not too big, but when I was doing the historical the other day, this file turned into almost 1.8 million records, and the download does it pretty quick, within less than 4 or 5 minutes. Anyway, I believe that's it that I wanted to cover. Yep, that's it. So I'm going to pause now or stop now, and y'all can send me questions y'all have.